I think you ought to know. Black Men's Radio. The place where men and women really speak. Oh man, what a show. It's Men's Radio. This crazy show is on 3 times a week. Now Russ and Phil are there to help with all your cares. We laugh, we cry, we talk like grown-ups do. But if you're sad and low, it won't cost you no dough. Men's Radio, that's the place for you. With Russ Kane and Phil Dave.
I saw him yesterday, you know.
Mr. Gelato.
I did. I saw him yesterday, yeah. And Mr. Vanes. It was very, very pleasant. Now, first thing.
Brought back an old feature, Russell.
What is that?
Well, you know, when you used to, during the pandemic, you would broadcast from a room that was very reminiscent of an old world pub.
Yes.
You know the room I'm talking about.
No.
We always used to try. You do.
Oh, yes.
And we always used to try and come up with an innovative name for a pub that you were broadcasting from.
Indeed.
So today, because I'm working from home, I have changed my backdrop to look like a public house. Yep. And I'm broadcasting to you live from the Stuff It In.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Get out my pub. Now, important day today.
Yes.
It's somebody's birthday. Someone you know quite well.
Oh.
Surname Dave, first name Ray.
Oh, yes, it's my dad's birthday, isn't it?
It's your dad's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Paul.
Yeah, happy birthday. I've wished him happy birthday on Facebook on a few. Yes, Robert Van Buren, first customer through the door at the Stuff It In pub. Can I order a drink?
Well, we always encourage anyone to drink aware, but what would you have, Robert?
Robert will be having pina colada with a twist.
I decanted a bottle of Lefroy today. 10-year oak cask.
No.
Because I know you'd hate it.
I do. Orange juice? Oh my God.
Orange juice?
I don't think we can be friends, mate. To be honest with you, I don't think we can be friends. Okay. No. Right. So you decanted the 10-year-old Lefroy.
Yes, I did.
Single malt whiskey, by the way, if you're not into whiskies.
The reason why I did that is because that's the one that you very kindly gave me. I say very kindly. You just didn't like it, so you just wanted to give it away. But it was very kind of you all the same.
I had that much.
I know, and you didn't like it.
That much I had. And I thought, I can't drink this because it's peated. So who loves peated?
And I just say it was absolutely delicious. So Russ might not have liked it very much, but I loved it.
News. That's good news. Obviously, Francois is going to have champagne. Could you get the good champagne, not Prosecco? What is Francois Pascal? Could you get the Cristal or the Krug would be good? Get the Cristal out. Get the Cristal for Chantal. Chantal for Francois Pascal. Boy, you're busy in your pub today. Have you got pork scratchings or has the ointment cleared?
I would have thought if it was pork scratching, it would be ointment.
Oink. Very good. Very good. You're going to need some help soon because pint of Guinness, please, Phil. That's from Barry J. Allen. So,
Barry, a man after my own heart. Well done.
Pint of Guinness. Excellent. So that's open the bottle of Cristal for Chantal Pascal. Get the orange juice for Robert Van Buren. Pint of Guinness for Barry J. Allen. Paul Claridge hasn't placed his order.
No, he just says good afternoon. But I'd imagine Paul's probably quite sensible these days. So I strongly suspect he's probably going to put us all to shame and just maybe have like a sparkling water or something.
Oh no, Julie voiced. You see, this is a success.
Very good.
This is a success. The Stuff It In is huge success.
I think a drink can say a lot about a person.
Does large G&T for me, please. Do you like Bombay Sapphire? I like Bombay Sapphire. I don't like Tanqueray. Tanqueray blows my head off. Look, Robert, it's a London establishment. The prices are the prices. Either you want to go there or don't go there. You've got to ask. Yes. You can't. All right, that's 2 pints of Guinness. If you get that in, Phil, please. Yep. That's excellent. That's excellent there. Another pint of Guinness.
Lovely Demeter, Tom
Leslie
Collins.
Demeter will have a Tom Collins. That's probably a person she knows rather than a drink. We're not
I was going to
entirely
say,
sure.
lucky old Tom.
Lucky Tom. He'll be exhausted. Tom Collins is
Phil Collins' brother.
It's Phil Collins' brother. Yeah. Right. Right. Linda Dave. She's having now. Linda Dave is having champagne. Right. You've opened the Cristal for Francois Pascal. So 2 glasses of champagne. I don't know how you're keeping going because
what do you mean? I don't know how to keep going. Business is booming. I tell you.
It is, mate. 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, please.
Graham.
That's great.
That would make a brilliant name for a show. I don't know why no one has come up with that before. Julie voice.
Silent Pool Gin. Do you know it? Made in Guildford. Probably made in Hillary O'Neill Pond.
Silent Pool.
Silent Pool. Sounds kind of rude. It's the sort of thing. I don't know. It's got a connotation.
You get to a certain age and then you can experience something similar.
Well, tell me about it. I know, mate. Prostate, no joke. So, are you mixing the Tom Collins now? Because look, you can't keep customers waiting.
No, listen. Don't worry. I'm behind the scenes here. My staff are working frantically.
That's fantastic. Who are comprising of your staff? Is it Julia Hartley Brewer in a pinny?
It was a ridiculous suggestion.
Well, I just thought. This is from Kamel Akhtar. Hey, Russ, keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Kamel. That's extremely kind of you. Francois, by the way, obviously the champagne's on us because you are Francois Pascal after all. So is it all right if Linda Dave has some of your Krug? No, it's Cristal. If you don't like the Cristal, Phil will open up the Krug.
I have to say, there is something mightily delicious about champagne, but the only thing that frustrates me slightly is, I know, but what frustrates me slightly is the way that people can get a bit snobbish at the prospect of wine that's sparkling from this country, when actually, just because obviously it doesn't come from the Champagne region, you can't call it champagne.
No, you can't.
But actually, some of it is absolutely delicious.
It's excellent. There's a sort of wine. Thank you, Francois. That's have you covered up your wardrobe? I don't know what you mean. So Francois being very, very nice. Paul Claridge. Here we go.
Oh my goodness!
You are joking me.
In the White Hart in Crystal Palace last weekend with a lady friend, a pint of Guinness and a pint of Peroni and 2 packets of crisps.
What?
£17, 17.
That's insane.
I think they put an extra 1 in front of it by mistake.
That can't be right.
That is outrageous stuff.
That is, Paul, that is bonkers. 17 quid for a Peroni and a Guinness and a couple of crisps. Jeez. Was it Gary Lineker's crisps? Did they burn your mouth as soon as you put them? Anyway, there's some very interesting polls going on about Gary Lineker at the moment, but I don't think they'll do anything because I don't think they'll cave in. Personally, what I think. What would I have? Do you make cocktails? You're making a Tom Collins. Can you make a martini?
I could. What was it? You'd have a dirty vodka martini, wouldn't you?
No, I don't know. It's got to be very dry. Vodka martini, Grey Goose if you got. If not, I'm not really that fussed. Or Finlandia, and 3 olives. I'm done. That's it. If you haven't got 3 olives, just a twist of lemon.
You know what? The number of pubs now, when you ask for a dirty, or bars that you'd ask for dirty martini, they only put 2 or 1 olives in now. It's ridiculous. They're so stingy.
Wines. What have we got here? Gary Lineker probably priced the crisps. That's very good. That's very good. Francois Pascal. I actually love Fortnum & Mason. They're Blanc de Blanc champagne. Yeah, there's some terrific champagnes out there. What have we got here? I hope you do.
Do you know,
I'll have a baby sham.
I think Blue Nun was my first introduction to wine.
Everybody's. Wasn't it? Everybody of us. Well, you're very young, but
I know what the problem was. Is I reckon that sort of my parents were probably trying to put me off drinking. How did that work for you?
It worked really well.
Trying to put me off drinking. So they probably introduced the idea of Blue Nun as if to say, well, look, this is what you can expect if you are going to drink wine. And needless to say, I didn't like it very much. But then again, I've never liked sweet alcohol. And Blue Nun is so sickeningly sweet.
Is it? I haven't tasted it in years. Do you remember that Leslie Phillips used to do there was another brand called Black Tower? Mm-hmm. And one was all sophisticated with Black Tower.
Oh, maybe that's how he did Last Orders. Ding dong, Last Orders, please.
It was that sort of thing. So yeah, Black Tower was meant to be a bit more sophisticated. A bit more sophisticated. Do you know I've never had a baby sham? Joking apart, I've never tasted it.
I've had it once. I've had it once.
Because it's made from pears, isn't it?
It's very strange, really, because the consistency obviously tastes
David
like...
Briggs. Shh. David Briggs. David. Oh, hello, fella. Please, can we have lunch soon or dinner, please? David Briggs, the man who employed me at Capital Radio. The man.
Oh,
he changed my life.
David, it's your fault. Anyway.
David, bless you. Also, ladies and gentlemen, David Briggs, the man who invented and created a little TV show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Mr. David Briggs. David, you are very welcome. Phil, if you could get a large glass of oyster bay, that would be perfect. Briggsy, sending a big hug, says Leslie Demiso, because they all work together, of course, at Capital. How lovely. Right. This has got nothing to do with mental health and well-being, although it seems to have, we've got record numbers. It seems that it hits the spot.
I was going to say, it triggers clearly. As soon as you introduce the subject of alcohol, and again, for those who just tuned in, please drink responsibly. But for those who
you get hammered, that's ridiculous. But
no, I know. But might I suggest that it is amazing how talking about alcohol seems to trigger a certain reaction. Do we need to talk? I think we do.
No, it's interesting. You know, the point is that life is horribly short and can be brutal. I always thought this. And if you enjoy a drink, you enjoy a drink. I don't think we have to be puritanical, you know, on a pilgrim father on the way on the Mayflower. It's not necessary. There is nothing wrong whatsoever. Not getting hammered, not getting not getting blind drunk, none of that nonsense. Enjoying a drink with friends, fantastic. Why not? And at the end of a day, when you've been working really hard, if you want to relax with a single malt in front of the TV, you relax with a single malt. You don't have to sit there beating yourself up. It's nonsense. It's just nonsense.
I can't.
We're all Mary G. Williams, excellent. Mary G. Williams. She's going to have a Bloody Mary. We like that. Do you want it spicy or not spicy? Where are you, Mary? You're in Kentucky, aren't you? I think Mary G. Williams is over in Kentucky. I'm pretty sure. I love it in Kentucky.
I wonder how the Bloody Mary came about.
I don't know. It's an interesting combination, though.
It's just an interesting thought. I mean,
yeah.
Who thought of
maybe
it?
they wanted to hide it. So I'm just having a tomato juice, but it was laced with vodka, you know.
Oh.
Being alcoholic is awful. I've lost two people to alcoholism. They both died. They were both ridiculously talented and destroyed their lives. It was revolting.
Hello. Right. While the origin of the name Bloody Mary and its recipes are debated, its birthplace is not, apparently. The most common backstory dates back to Paris in the 1920s at the Harry's New York bar. Apparently, Harry's opened in 1911 after an American jockey had a New York bar disassembled and shipped to Paris.
Wow.
So that's where it comes from. But in terms of where the actual name stems from, not entirely sure. Let's see. Some stories suggest that the Bloody Mary was named after a server named Mary who worked at a salon bar called the Bucket of Blood in Chicago. Dear, that's delightful.
Ooh,
others claim it was named after Queen Mary Tudor of England. Right. No one knows for sure, but as prohibition waned, the drink took off in America and the name stuck. So there you go.
Yeah. Nicely. I tell you what, I'll give you a little tip. Throwing this in. There's a ready-made tomato-y bottle, and it's called Big Tom.
Is it called
Big
ketchup?
Tom. No, it's not ketchup. It's delicious. Absolutely sensationally good. It's called Big Tom. Look it up. I thoroughly recommend it. No, we're not sponsored by them. We're not sponsored by anybody. So, yeah, Big Tom, add some vodka. Boom, you're away.
Graham Pack says you should call the pub the Nailed Inn, as you can get hammered there.
Yeah. There's a wonderful
Graham,
thing for mental health.
Thank you.
You know, I do the podcast every week with Mark Collin called Walk the Talk, the Hero's Journey. Nothing to do with mental health. It's a completely separate issue. And as Mark, we talk a lot about philosophy and all sorts of interesting stuff, and nothing big then, nothing big, and it's quite heavy, but it's also very funny, and but then it gets heavy again. And Mark comes up with a wonderful thing, a way of looking at life, that if you're a hammer, everything's a nail. If you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And I said, well, you got to explain that to me, because he's a deeply philosophical guy, Mark Collin. He's my spiritual consigliere, as I call him, which he is. And if you go through life seeing everything as a problem, then everything's a problem. So if you're a hammer, everything's a nail. And I just thought that was great. I really thought that was great. And he came up with something else, and it's part of the philosophy, just taking it away from our drinking.
Yeah, but I'm not being funny. But then if it goes on the basis of if you're a Phillips head, everything is screwed. So, I wouldn't go too deep.
No, it's the same thing. Yeah. If you're a Phillips head, if you go through life, I'm a Phillips head screwdriver, everything is screwed. It's how you look at life. And he said, one of the first shows we did, I think we called it Stop Fighting the River. And if you're in a river and it's flowing quite fast and you're fighting it with a sword, you're never going to win. It's an absolute waste of time.
Well, not least of all, because you probably wouldn't get the rust out of the blade.
Well, that is it. You're not working with me here. You're working against me here, and I can feel it. I can feel it because you're in the pub. But if you're in the river...
Sorry, I've had one too many waters. I'm sorry.
You're going crazy, going wild. That's single malt water. Would you want some malt with that water? But if you're in the river and you're fighting it with a sword, you're not hiding to nothing. Put the sword down. Stop fighting the river. And I know they sound sort of like cliches, but when you think about them, they're really good. They're really good. I really like that. It's been very helpful to me in making certain life decisions, about business or about all sorts of things, or where you want to go, what you want to be doing, what you want to be spending your time doing. Stop fighting the river. You're never going to win. Just put the sword down. Just go with it. Basically.
I feel it's appropriate you told us that on the live stream.
Ooh!
It's on fire today. It's terrible. What happened?
Very good. It's very good.
Dear, oh dear. Now I know I'm in trouble.
What's the
this
matter?
Is how you can tell that your life is lonely.
What's going on?
I've just got a text message from Lidl.
Go on. Already.
What the heck's going on with my life?
I don't know, but it's sad. Go on.
It says, fancy a taste of France. Discover France. I don't know what. Sorry, I told you that. Water's gone to my head. Fancy a taste of France. Discover our Deux de Coeur range now in store.
Deux de what?
Deux de Coeur.
Deux de quoi?
What? No, I don't think it's that. That sounds a bit dodgy.
It sounds. Try our Deux de Quack range. Well, I think I'll give that a miss.
It's DUC. Hang on a sec. Right, it's Francois. Help here.
Yeah, come on.
Hang on a sec. I'm going to type
like
this
she's
out.
French.
Right, so
it's French.
DUC.
DUC.
DE, and then
it's Duke de. So that's the Duke of Duke of Earl Duke of Earl.
COEUR. So it's like this.
What?
Just put it on screen.
Okay, I'm ready. Duke de Coeur.
Duke de Coeur.
Well, Coeur is heart. Duke heart. Duke's heart. Heart of the Duke.
Oh, well, there you go.
I miss. I don't like that. Coeur. Sacré Coeur. Coeur. Da diddly quack. Did you get that? Da diddly quack. Da diddly quack. Don't you ever Don't you ever stop being there. He was blooming good at it, man. They were fantastic. Diana Dawes was in that video. What a video that was. Oh, your mum's woken up. Heart. See, the champagne's gone straight to her head.
The Duke of Heart.
Duke of Heart. I was right. So, Lee, everyone's ordering drinks. What would you like? Francois Pascal, Linda Dave are on champagne. We've got some folks who are on pints of Guinness. Julie Voice is on a large gin and tonic.
Paul Claridge and Barry J. Allen.
Yeah, they're on Guinness. Julie Voice is a large G&T.
Yeah.
There we are. So please, whatever you'd like. Grand Packs on Baby Sham.
Oh yeah, I was telling you a Baby Sham story before.
Oh yeah, okay, go on.
So, I mean, I warn you, it's probably not necessarily that riveting, but then again, most of my anecdotes aren't, and I'm well aware I'm just here to fill the time because the show's now not very much content. However,
got loads of content.
What happened was it was a friend's 40th years ago, and they just thought for a laugh they'd introduced Baby Sham into the. I didn't even know you could buy Baby Sham anymore.
I wonder where. The yellow.
I don't know where they got it from.
Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, I can hand on heart say it was absolutely revolting. So I don't really know what. I'm not really that worried about it, to be honest.
Well, they call it the Champagne Perry. Growing up as a kid, I never knew what champagne.
I call it shambolic. It's awful.
It was something very good. I thought it was something to do with Perry Como or something. But Champagne Perry, it's made from pears, so it's fermented and sparkly pear. Sounds horrible.
I didn't experience much of a magic moment from it. Let's put it that way.
Francois, as much as I adore you and have done since Mind Your Language and before, nothing wrong with Little. I love Little. Middle of Little. You never know what you're going to get. I found this. I love this. This is fantastic. And it's beautiful material and it's great. And that was in the middle of Little. Right. So Lee
Chrissy
Durnford.
Richards.
Hang on.
Hi, boys.
No, we're getting the drinks in. Wait.
Oh, sorry. Old fashioned from Lee.
Yeah, old fashioned for Lee Durnford. What is that? That's a whiskey drink, isn't it? Is that an old fashioned whiskey drink, isn't it?
I think so.
I don't know how it is. What is an old fashioned? Right. Off you go. Going off to Spain. Come along.
Old fashioned is a cocktail. Yeah, it's whiskey with bitters, orange garnish, and soda.
Okay.
It's not bad. Chrissy Richards says, "Hi, boys, from Gales and Drain in Salah. I love brandy and Baby Sham, made from pears. Idiot, lol."
Yeah, no, we've established
it's made from
Champagne
pears.
Perry, so it's made from pears. We got that bit. Elizabeth, yeah, and I'm with you. Little, great. I love Little. To be honest with you, I like Little. I love Aldi. Great. Elizabeth, we're getting the drinks in because to celebrate the opening of Phil's fabulous new pub, the what's it called?
The Stuff It In.
The Stuff It In. The Stuff It In. It's Phil's fabulous new pub. What would you like? He's got everything. He's making cocktail. He's amazing. What a host. What a host. Apparently an old-fashioned is a traditional whiskey cocktails with bitters, soda water, and a simple orange garnish. Serve the old-fashioned cocktail in a tumbler with plenty of... All right. Hang on. Oh, it's all kicking off now. A sharp needle. I was just questioning their French motif. Well, Françoise, when you go to Lidl, they have sometimes it's an Italian week, it could be a German week. We had not a Turk. What's the matter with you? What's happened now? What's happened? He's gone. He's gone. I finally only took me 5 years to crack him up. 5 years. God almighty, your mother shopped in Lidl. How come? Didn't think it was it? Seemed to amuse my young friend. What's going on? Well, look, we'll let him compose himself. This is classic, isn't it?
Oh dear, so sorry.
This was green and not the drinker. Sorry,
what it was?
Like pink champagne. Who doesn't? Pink champagne on ice.
I'm so sorry. Do you know what it was?
No.
This is a very dangerous thing. I was watching on Netflix. I know we're not talking TV yet.
No.
But I was watching on Netflix last night a program called Benidorm 10 years of being on holiday, or 10 years on holiday, whatever it's called.
Yeah, okay.
It is a repeat. I've seen it before. It's quite old now.
Right.
But It was just one line. Did you ever watch Benidorm?
No, never.
Oh, you see, you missed a trick.
I know everyone said it was hilarious, but I never.
No, you really missed a trick. So there was this one character, Kenneth, who was a hairdresser. He was the most flamboyant character you've ever stumbled across in your life.
Flamboyant, I think we're
hilariously flamboyant.
There, but,
but he used to wear these. It sort of became a running joke that he'd wear the most outrageous vests, very, very tight, against a figure that, shall we say, by his own admission, probably wasn't best designed for tight vests. However, the actual vests themselves always used to have some sort of comic slogan on it. And he revealed on this show last night, the actor who played him revealed last night that apparently the lawyers used to jump in and get very twitchy about some of the T-shirts they would choose. And he just sort of said, for example, one of the ones that didn't make it is that he said that if you think my attitude stinks, you should smell my ... It just tickled me. That's all. Oh dear. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Yeah, indeed. Yes, he is Graham. He's now playing the Undertaker in Coronation Street. Very, very different characters, to say the least.
Ina Sharple's still in that? Minnie Caldwell? She's still there?
Oh, I used to like Ina Sharples.
It was in black and white. You can't have seen it. You can't have been alive then.
No, I wasn't. But I liked the repeats.
You absolutely were not alive when Ina. Oh, this is so depressing.
I wasn't. I said it's the repeats. I watched the repeats.
When were you born? 80 what?
1986.
Bye, everybody. How can anybody be born in 1986? Be born?
Don't you think I'm living proof of that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry. It's a bit of a worry. What have I seen on TV that's any good? Nothing. Absolutely, not a lot. Not a hell of a lot. I'll get it in before Chantal comes because she's got loads of stuff. There was a brilliant French film, François. It's called Le Cri du Loup, The Cry of the Wolf, and it's about nuclear submarines in the French Navy.
Oh.
No, it was very exciting. I have to be honest. Oh God, what's this? Ina Sharples made my life. Why? Were you?
Was that Violet Carson, the actress, or was it actually the character?
Wow. We need to know more. Wait, we need to know. This is gold. What is this? That's when programs were good, says Chrissy Richards. My daughter was born in 1987.
You see, some of the best creatures came out of the 1980s.
Hang on. What is this? Don't pronounce the P.
P?
François. No, you've lost me, and Phil. I'm not following. Don't pronounce the P. Ina
Charles?
I don't know. Hang on, what we got? 1986. Russ was the stork in the sky. Got a flying stork. I went on tour as a golf pro, says Martin Allen. David Briggs, who knows a thing or two about television. Traitors is very good TV. I've never seen it. Everybody says it's great, but it's got the future Mrs. Kane, Claudia Winkleman in it, so it's bound to be great. If she only met me. I started work in 1987.
Surely you must have met at the Fringe event.
Hey, is Phil taking the P? About what? No, we're really lost.
Are we on Blockbusters now?
I'll have a bleep P, please, Bob. Do you know something interesting about Bob Holness, who hosted Blockbusters? He was the first James Bond.
I did know this because he played it on radio, didn't he?
Bob Holness, the host of Blockbusters, now long gone, was the first James Bond where they made a radio play on presumably the home service or the light program or something, and Phil got it right. Oh God, here we go. Right, you read this out because I'll mess it up.
Francois Pascal says, when I appeared on Corrie, she did not like me because I had a lot of paparazzi around me after my accident in 1971. She screamed at me and shouted, "That bloody French woman!" Oh dear, good Lord.
She sounds nice.
Don't mind Violet Carson. Do you know what you need to think along the lines of Francois Pascal? She's dead.
She's dead.
No, I was going to say, no, the lines you need to think
win.
along. No, the lines you need to think along is that, you know, she started off life on Coronation Street as one of the cleaners, and that's how she was discovered.
Really?
Apparently, I'm fairly sure I'm right with that.
Always reminds me, the nearest thing to that is Mrs. Brown's Boys with Mrs. McGoogle next door. How are you, Mrs. McGoogle? You're right. I'm all right, thanks, Kathy, love. Do you have a tea? Right, now we've got...
Love it.
I watched 3 Mrs. Brown Boys from series 1 back to back. Just amusing. I liked, you liked her. That's good. Sue Sleet, 1986, Sue, for God's sake, you're not 200 years old. I went back to college as a mature student when my eldest was 11, my youngest was 6. So which one was Dave Sleet? Was he 11 or 6? I'm being reprimanded. Don't pronounce the P in loup. So I should say le cri de loup.
Oh.
Le cri de loup. With my prostate, you often hear. Now, I believe I just did that. Russ, have you covered up the wardrobe? Why? I'm not discussing the wardrobe. It's not up for conversation today. End of story. Here we go. This is for you, Phil. Then we're bringing on Chantal. All right, I'll read it. Phil's busy. Phil.
Maybe I got it wrong. I thought that...
What?
No, I could have sworn Violet Carson was the cleaner at first. Maybe it was someone else in Corrie who was cleaning and then started.
Maybe it was Elizabeth Taylor when she was in Coronation.
You need to watch. If you watch, there's a brilliant program out there called The Road to Coronation Street. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And it's sort of like part drama, part documentary, and it discovers it talks about the founding, if you like, of Florizel Street, as it was going to be called.
Okay. I don't watch it. Phil, I have a pal called Perry who was at the Benidorm, who was in Benidorm, the comedy series. I once spent a night partying with the cast in a pub in Hampstead, including Tony Maudsley, who played Kenneth. Word to the wise, that would be pretty hard on the show, and they would party hard on the show, and they partied even harder in real life.
Ooh.
Mr. David Briggs and myself would know nothing about our days at Capital Radio and partying hard. Nothing whatsoever. And right, then we bring on Chantal. I think Phil is the exception to the rule, as the 80s talent level definitely struggled.
Well, I thank you, Dave Sleet. You know, that was almost...
he owes you money. He owes you money. Right, Chrissy Richards, when can I buy your follow-up book? Well, it's with my literary agent. In fact, I was amending some of the chapters last night, well into about midnight. More to do, but within 6 weeks it will be off to doing the rounds of the London Book Fair and all the publishers. So it won't be out till 2025. So please God, we're all still here. And one last question.
Well, hang on a sec. I didn't understand that last part there, because
for God's sake, Linda, no, not that.
Hang on, because I don't understand. Because Chrissy Richards says, Phil, are you drinking all the booze behind you? PMLS. I'm a bloke. I don't get PMLS.
I think you misunderstood what she's saying. No, Linda, you're lovely. It's another David Briggs. Right. You know her. You love her.
PMLS.
She is.
What is that?
Something myself laughing.
Huh?
God almighty, it's like working with children. It's like Basil Brush.
Oh, right. PML. Hang on a second.
Her?
So it should be PMSL. So I see.
Of course, she's got it.
Oh,
Can we move on?
Oh, right.
It's not
sorry.
A nice mental image. And
wait, what does the P stand for?
God, I'm losing the will to live. Ladies and gentlemen, Chantal Rickards OBE.
Hi, Chantal.
PISSED.
Pardon?
PISSED.
Oh, gracious me. Really? Chantal, I didn't realise you were that old.
Chrissy.
I was just filling in the blanks. Thank
you. Are we allowed to mention?
God.
I know.
Have we discovered the new version of Davy Dozy Deaky Bick and Mick and Titch, or whatever it is?
Dave D, Dosey Beaky, Mick and Titch. Words you cannot say.
That, yes.
That one. I don't know why you can't say it. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Are we allowed to mention the wonderful film you kindly took me to last week, which is still living with me, and I absolutely recommended it to everybody. Everybody said it's fantastic.
I can't remember what it was.
Jeez. It was the highlight of my week, just seeing you, but no, I can't remember which it was.
It's good to know how memorable it was.
Thanks. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. The taste of things. The taste of things. The French film.
That's wonderful. Let me double check and see if it's out. Hang on.
It's been at the Cannes. I recommended it to the author and actress or actor, you got to say these days, Carol Drinkwater. She said, "Oh yes, I saw it at the Cannes Film Festival." Of course, you.
Oh no, but that's different. That's different.
Yeah, that's another special screening.
I'm going to see if it's been released in the UK. I think you talk about it, and I'll check the release date.
Okay. Well,
talk
Chantal
amongst
said,
yourselves.
Chantal said.
In the meantime, while Chantal is looking that up, Paul Claridge has decided to send photographic evidence
of
him and Kenneth from Benidorm.
All right.
So I thought that seeing as he has gone to great lengths, it would be very, very rude of me not to show it.
Yeah, this is, hang on, this is true. Chrissy Richards from Spain says this. Chantal looks younger every time. I know. And in real life, she looks even younger.
I've got a picture in my attic.
Well, it's working. I'll tell you that. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. I was sober, says right. Okay, this film, while you're doing whatever you're doing.
Well, I'll get the photo for you. Hang on a second, because I can't do it the way I'd like to because the thing's not working. So I'll just have
Chantal
to hold
invited me to see.
There you go.
There
he is.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, hang on. I've got to turn my light off there.
Oh no! It's all right.
Can you see? Sort of.
No, not really.
There we
go. There we go. That was it.
There we go. That's Paul Claridge with Kenneth from Benidorm.
Okay. Lovely. Chantal is beautiful. Let me tell you something, Françoise Pascal, and I am pronouncing the P in Pascal as opposed to Ridelou. Chantal is beautiful. Chantal Rickards is beautiful inside and out. There we go.
You can carry out an endoscopy, have you?
No, I haven't done an endoscopy. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. Damn it! Now she knows I'm not a doctor. Now she knows. So Françoise invited me to a.
Before you move on, I need to pick you up on your pronunciation because I've been listening to you mangle the French language, and I know a little bit of French. I lived in France for a year. Françoise Pascal is Françoise, not Francois. Francois is a boy's name. Françoise is a girl's name. I leave that up to you.
Say it again slowly for the heart of thinking.
Françoise. Yes. And Francois is a boy's name.
Oh.
Well,
it's 2024, so she's allowed to identify as a bloke if she wants.
Can do what she wants. Although,
but we'll stick to Françoise.
Excellent.
Françoise. She's never mentioned it before. But thanks for humiliating me in front of everybody. Thanks.
It's fine. We'll just call her Frances or Fanny. It'll be all right.
All right. Okay, so tell us about the French film that we went to see.
Fanny Pascal is going to be known as now.
It doesn't come out till February, by the way.
All right. So I can't.
No, you can talk about it because we've gone past the BAFTA voting period. So I can't be accused of overly influencing the membership body in any way by telling you what I thought about it. So that's fine.
Okay, I get the deal. So Chantal said, "Do you want to come and see a film?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And we go along to the screening room in Soho, and it's called The Taste of Things. I know nothing else about it, nothing whatsoever. Neither did Chantal. But I thought, well, let's go. Because I always enjoy Chantal's company, as anyone would. We go there, and the film opens up, and it's very beautiful. So I don't know what period this is set in. I don't know if it's modern. I don't know what the story's going to be. She said, François said, Chantal said, it's about cooking or something. I went, all right, I love cooking. That's all I knew. Cooking was involved, right? So it's set in France, in rural France, probably about, I'm guessing, 1890. That's kind of my guess. I don't know. And it's very, very beautiful. And the opening scene probably takes 20, 25 minutes, at least 20 minutes. Virtually no dialogue, and they're just cooking. It's mesmerizing. It's absolutely mesmerizing. And you're sitting there. I know you're listening to this wherever you might be on the app or wherever, and you're thinking, God, that sounds hideous. It's incredible. It's so beautiful because they're drawing all the water from the well. It's Greta Thunberg, eat your heart out. In that case, it's a wood burning stove. There's no amenities there. It's 1819, absolute rural France. It's just stunning. It's the most beautiful, beautiful film I've seen in ages. I loved it. Loved
what was it specifically about it that was beautiful?
What was it about? I've got to tell you, it was just, when you think what's it about, well, to be honest, very little. But it's just the most enjoyable, beautifully shot, beautifully acted. It was just fascinating, and a glimpse into a time that'll never come back, with food that will never come back. And it's not a film to see if you're hungry. It's not.
Well, you say that, but a lot of food shouldn't come back because it will be past its best.
Oh, for God's sake. Right, Linda Dave, who is married to birthday boy Ray Dave, has a question. Chantal, have you seen The Watcher on Netflix? It's amazing.
I think I started it, but I don't think I stuck with it, and I can't remember why, but I will come back to that one. If not, if I haven't seen it, I will definitely check it out over the weekend. Thank you, Linda.
No, I don't know it. The Watcher. I don't. I can't get into anything at the moment. I don't know why. My mind's.
Well, you must have seen Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
Oh God, yes, it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Now here's 6 Degrees of Separation. All right, David Briggs, who's been commenting on the show, was the man foolhardy enough to hire me at Capital Radio and change my life. That was him. David Briggs obviously was instrumental in moving a certain Mr. Chris Tarrant from a small lunchtime show to the breakfast show. The rest is history, as they say. Right? 4 million listeners a day. Chris Tarrant has a PA, has had for many, many years, called Bernie Murray, who's a lovely woman. And Bernie and I obviously know each other well. Bernie puts a post up on Facebook weeks ago going, "So proud of my son, Joe. He's executive producer of a program called Mr. Bates versus the Post Office."
Wow.
Yeah. So out of courtesy to Bernie, who I've known for years, I thought, well, it's her son. How lovely. I'll give it a watch. Not realizing it was going to change so many lives, go and cause a huge furore. So congratulations to all concerned. That was Mr. Bates versus the Post Office.
It'll win everything this time next year.
I hope so. Chantal, I have a question, and it's a serious question. When was the last time that a television program had such an impact? Because this has shamed people, and all of a sudden they're able to do all sorts of it's amazing. It's amazing because public opinion. I'm going to go with Kathy Come Home from a billion years ago.
Yep. I was going to say Kathy Come Home, which a lot of people won't remember, but that was very much a drama with a cause. We were talking about cause-related films recently, and that had it absolutely writ large all the way through it. And I think Kathy Comes Home was the 1970s,
or early 70s, I believe.
Yeah, long time ago. Made, I think, possibly by Yorkshire Television, if not Granada.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Anyway, you're wrong. But no, that was extraordinary. What have we seen in recent years? Well, I don't.
You're going to freak out.
Okay.
Kathy Come Home was BBC 1966.
Oh my God, 66.
Directed by Ken Loach. Don't say anything, Phil. No. Directed by Ken Loach, produced by Tony Garnett.
Please let me say something.
No, anyway. You can't. You can't do that. Elizabeth Green saying this. Do you remember Scum?
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I'm talking about dramas. Graham, it's got to be a drama.
The impact. No, nothing's affected Parliament and affected public thinking in the way that Mr. Bates versus the Post Office has. I mean, it will take a lot of credit for making major change in policy in this country and how all of those victims are recognised from today onwards. It's an extraordinary
great drama.
Great drama.
If you think about it, though, what about when have you ever known ITV to rip up its schedule for the week after it first broadcast, bearing in mind everything's on demand now anyway.
Yeah.
But rip up its schedule and say, right, no, we're going to repeat this every single night for the following week, which is basically what they did do.
Wow.
No, I've never heard of that, ever.
Yeah.
No, it's extraordinary. I mean, it's made a real difference. And, you know, that's the power of good storytelling, good program making, well promoted, great actors, and an extraordinary story that needed to be told. I mean, there's nothing to not like. It's really worth watching. If you haven't seen it,
isn't it a disgrace?
Yeah.
And I've written about this. I'm sure everybody else has, but it's a disgrace that it takes a television drama with actors to galvanize a government. This was all started with Tony Blair, by the way. Let's not forget about it. It was Tony Blair. Oh, there's nothing wrong with the Fujitsu system. It's all marvelous. Yeah, thanks, Tone. Want to think about that? But to do this, and what is so sickening is because the public suddenly get it. They understand a 4-part drama, and they suddenly think, "Oh, that now we understand."
Yeah.
It had been obscured, and it didn't seem to be as ghastly as it actually was. Horrific.
Yeah.
But suddenly they're able to do absolutely everything. Oh, that's not a problem. It was never a problem. You just didn't want to do it. Shame on you. Shame on every government of every persuasion, every politician who just swept this under the rug. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. You know, we talk about mental health and well-being. Those people went through hell.
Yeah. Well, Phil and I said that last weekend about the mental health of those affected, and then just beyond appalling. But I mean,
I think it bears worth repeating, though. I just can't believe that people involved died never clearing their names. What the hell?
Yeah.
And exonerating people after they're dead is about as useful as an ashtray on a motorbike.
Well, no, it's really useful for the families, Russ, because if I were one of the survivors, as it were, and my father's name had been discredited, I would absolutely want his name being reinstated as a man who had probity. So I think it does make a difference. And they'll get money too, but they will also know that those people weren't guilty and that their names have been restored. And that's massively important.
It is important, but how are they going to get their lives? I get that. And morally, it's absolutely correct. But when you've lost everything, and God only knows what state their mental health is in, when you've lost that and you feel you're down in the gutter, no one believes you, and suddenly, no, it's okay, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to bounce back from that.
Very.
If you can. It'll make you even more angry.
I don't think I'm giving too much away, but in the drama, you even saw one of them was technically cleared, but yet still never really recovered from it.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes. Yeah, lovely to see your friend Leslie Nichol in it, playing a marvelous role. No cooking involved. No cooking. Mrs. Patmore.
No, it's a great role.
It's probably a good thing. She's confessed she can't cook anyway.
No, she can't.
It wasn't a great cook.
She can't.
Her husband always used to do the cooking, but she says that she's never been in a television drama that has had this sort of impact before, and she's incredibly proud of the work that everybody put in on that. So
I would love to ask her. Well, you could ask her on our behalf. When they were making the series, you know, let's not be rude. It's a job. You know, you come along, you're an actor, you audition. Oh, you got the role. Happy days. I wonder if any of them realized, and I would suggest the answer is no, that it was going to cause such a furore, an absolute watershed moment, you know.
Right. I think your supposition is right, that they had no idea that it was going to create this much noise, if you like. But I know that I did ask Leslie if she'd met the character that she'd played, because I was really interested to see how much work all the actors did with their real life counterparts. And she said she spent a lot of time in advance of filming with the character of the lady postmaster that she portrayed.
Really? Did she?
And all the other cast members did too, which I thought was terrific. Really, really good. So they really felt a really deep feeling for those people that they were portraying. So yeah, and it came across on screen. It's terrific.
It felt 100% authentic.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where you think, they're not I forget they're actors. You're so involved, you're so angry. I was like sort of shouting at the television.
Yeah.
Felt like use that's going to do. It was just disgusting.
Yeah.
Just disgusting. And I bet nothing happens. I bet nothing happens.
Oh, no.
You think things will happen?
Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. They've made a commitment, I think, to some sort of reparation by Christmas, haven't they? But maybe not. Maybe I got that wrong. I thought there was going to be pretty instant reparation. But
it reminds me of that huge talent show. I won't mention the name. In America, you know the one, and the person who won it gets $1 million. It's not a joke, by the way. Gets $1 million and gets a residency in Las Vegas. And the truth is, yes, they get the $1 million spread over 40 years. Over 40 years. Oh, yeah. And the residency in Las Vegas is, I think, 2 or 3 nights with everybody else who was in the show as well. So read the small print. I always worry about that. Read the small print and just make sure that it's right. Right. What have you come across that's great? Or even watchable?
It was Emmys week. I don't know if anybody noticed that it was the Emmys in America. The Emmys are normally in September, but because of COVID and goodness knows what, the Emmys have suddenly ended up in the film season because obviously we've got the Emmys and the Oscars and the BAFTAs all happening at the same time, which is massively confusing.
Yeah.
But anyway, and
you say it's confusing, but is it a good thing or a bad thing, do you think?
Bad thing.
Really?
Bad thing. Yeah. It makes it confuses film and television, and actually I think they really are still quite different.
Yeah.
It means that all of this time of the year that's normally devoted to film has to suddenly be shared with television. So, even at the big BAFTA party at the weekend in Los Angeles, there were TV stars there and there were movie stars there, but there was it slightly cancelled out the opportunity for them to have, their own place in the sun in September, and then for the film people to have their place in the sun in February and March. So it felt like they cancelled each other out somehow. But anyway, it is what it is. But it is confusing to have them all at the same time. So 10 days ago, I finished my BAFTA voting for the movies. And then yesterday, I finished my voting for the BAFTA TV Awards. And it all just feels a little bit close together. But the thing that came out of the Emmys was that basically 3 TV programs just won everything. One was Succession, which we know and love, and has got a lot of sort of British actors in it.
Some of us live it as well.
Some of us don't love it, apparently. Anyway, go on.
And then there was a TV series that I'd mentioned a few months ago called The Bear, or is it just called Bear? No, it's called The Bear.
The Bear, yes. The Bear,
absolutely wonderful. About a young man who is a successful chef in New York who goes back to Chicago to run his brother's sort of cheap sandwich deli place. And it's completely brilliant. And then the other thing was a series that I started and I didn't get through the first episode. And I've now gone back on it. And that's called Beef. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. So we're not too far off track with the choices that we're talking about on a Friday. So that's good news.
Oh, that's good.
The one I wanted to mention today, first of all, is something called True Detective.
Yes.
And the original, there've been 3 series, and this is season 4.
Oh.
Yeah. We're now up to season 4. The first one was with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah,
they
fantastic.
are still executive producers, but each series takes different detectives. So they're not in it, but they're behind the cameras. And the quality, I think, is just
fantastic. Oh,
so remind us, what's that called again?
It is called True Detective, and it's on Sky. It's really, really good. And the first series won loads of awards, but it's been off air for about 3 years, and it's just come back. And this has got Jodie Foster as the lead, and she is the detective in this. It's based in Alaska. It's slightly like, it's a bit of a supernatural, where you think there may be something supernatural going on, but yeah, right up your street, Russ. Is it supernatural? Not. There's big business. It's the start of the 60-day darkness period in Alaska, where literally they are dark for 24 hours a day. So there's a real foreboding of something really grim happening. And the sort of opening scene, if you like, is there's a research station where they're doing lots of biological research somewhere deep out into the snowy wastelands. And all of the people in it, who are men specifically, 12 or 14 scientists, all of the men disappear. And the police arrive and the place is completely empty. And then
you set in the Mary Celeste, is it?
Well, it's a bit like that. But then you realize that there's something else going on. There are lots of sort of domestic stories that actually look as though they're going to be intertwined with this bigger story of big business, biological interest. I mean, all sorts of, they're just playing with lots of different ideas. But Jodie Foster and the woman police detective, who is a local First Nations detective from Alaska, they are at loggerheads with each other right from the get-go. But they are both so brilliant on screen, and you get completely taken in by the performances. But the story is really interesting. I've only watched the first episode, but my God, it's good.
But it's on Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, it is on Sky. Rave reviews everywhere. So find it, buy it if you can. It's worth it. It's really good.
Can you do? It's a stupid question. I know we've only got 3.5 minutes, but if I just want to watch one show on Sky, how do I can't. I've got to buy the whole. I'm not going to buy that. I can't. I'd love to.
Yeah.
Right, all round to Chantal's house then to watch it.
All round exactly. And I'm certainly not going to tell you to try and rip it off some dodgy streaming method.
Oh God, no. It's funny you say True Detective, I'm afraid, is impinged permanently because one of the boys was so impressed with the series, he had a replica of the tattoo.
No.
Yes. Yeah, you had the whole thing. I got to say, it looks great on here. Everything Blue World does looks great. But I mean, I am not a tattoo fan, as you well know. And I was like freaking, but I couldn't show I was freaking, because that's not cool. But he's got that thing. So I'm reminded of True Detective every time I see one of the kids.
Well, one of my sons.
Oh, Debbie Greenwood is saying, hang on, let's do this quickly. She's talking about a show called True Detective. It is on Sky.
Jodie Foster.
Françoise Pascal, no mean actress herself, says, love Jodie Foster in that TV. And the way she looks without makeup, she is fabulous. She's a fabulous actress. Oh, fantastic actress.
A very nice woman.
Is she?
Yeah,
you met?
smashing.
Of course you met her. Oh, how lovely to know that.
We met, and she brought her kids along, her 2 young sons, to the BAFTA Britannia Awards, and her wife, who is the daughter of, do you remember David Hedison from Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea?
Of course I do, yes. Good-looking chap.
So that's Jodie's father-in-law.
Oh,
in effect.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not sure he's still alive. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. But it was an absolute privilege to meet her. Incredibly straightforward, no fuss, no bother, charming, undemanding, terribly nice. But,
I was in a little years and years ago.
You helping me write my dating profile again, Chantal.
Yeah, incredibly nice, runs a nice pub. Years and years ago with my late wife, we were in LA and we're sitting in a little sort of deli diner. Nothing fancy. And she goes, what? Because she recognized that. She went, look. I went, what? It's like this. And I'm going, what? And then eventually she had said, behind you, you idiot. So I looked to my left. And at the next table, I said, well, there's a woman sitting. I don't know who that is. She said, it's Jodie Foster. I went, is it?
So can I just say very, very quickly, we're about to run out of time with 30 seconds to go. Right. The other day, for work, I was called out to go and do sort of like what we call a mic hold at a little cycling event. Yeah. Right. There we go. Look at that. And it was amazing because it happened in Regent's Park. It was actually for Israel. So, of course, a lot of the people who partook were of Jewish faith. And I referred to it as a shul on wheels. And the reason why I referred to it as a shul on wheels is because the number of people who were turning to each other from a distance going, like they normally do across the synagogue hall where you said, hey, you're right, like long time no see kind of thing. Anyway, there you go. That was exciting. And a bit of an anticlimactic way to finish, really.
Note. Look at this, 6 degrees of separation again. Francois Pascal loved David Hedison. I worked with him in Summer and Smoke with Lee Remick. Boom!
Thing.
Can't
when
say
the
fairer than that.
A-listers speak, they speak here. Sign us out, Phil. Sign us out,
Sign
Phil.
us out. It's 1 o'clock. It's time to go. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Chantal. Bye-bye.